Good morning. Well, I often wonder, what did Joseph's family make of it? What did his friends make of it? Was this man being foolish to take this young woman who was obviously 3 months pregnant? Why didn't he just set her aside? He could do it quietly, not make any fuss about it. But no, Joseph decides that what he's heard from God. And I expect he and Mary got together and talked about this and shared about it and wondered about it. What do they have to do next in order to fulfill God's will and to do it God's way? I expect when Mary came back, having visited Zechariah, she would have been told by Zechariah and Elizabeth, of course, the child, when it's born, has to be born in Bethlehem. Why? Because the Old Testament prophecy had identified the place. It would be in the city of David. The child had to be born in Bethlehem. But what excuse could they possibly make for going to Bethlehem in order that the child should be born there? Well, God's got that in hand as well. And this is always something for us to remember. God's got everything in hand. He plans for everything. Just as an aside, he knew the moment you were conceived. He knew the moment you would be born. Yes, and he knows the moment you will die. And he has known it before he created the world. God's plan is overwhelming. It takes into account every single individual. Your life is already known by God because he has called you to be his child. And therefore he knows all about you and has known it from the very beginning of time. On this occasion, God knows as well about the prophecies. He had told Micah about it. He had let Micah prophesy it. So he knows the child is going to be born in Bethlehem. But how will it be born in Bethlehem? Well, God's in control of the nations of the world as well. And in Rome, the Caesar, trying to plan for his empire, suddenly looks at all these multitudes of different peoples in their different places, and he says, I need to know how many there are and where they're living. Every 10 years in this country, we get a census. And the purpose of this census is so the government will know how many people are living in different places, how many, of what age and how old they are and this type of thing. They have to plan for schools and they have to plan for all the different things that are going on throughout the nation. And so every 10 years they take a census to try to find out exactly what is going on and what is in fact happening in the country. Well, Caesar decides on the same thing. Where are his people? And how can he cater for them? How can he manage them? How can he be an emperor if he doesn't know where they are and what they're doing? So he sends out a decree. He says the whole world has got to come and fill in forms and tell us who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. Now, I'm not going to send out census takers to every home. Each person can return to their own home and the census will be taken there. I expect when Joseph and Mary heard about this, they were quite overwhelmed. Because now, of course, Joseph had to go to Bethlehem, as did Mary's father and her brothers. All the adult males in Nazareth would have to travel to Bethlehem in order to register in this census. Mind you, I expect Mary's family became quite startled when she said, I am going with Joseph. You see, by now she was probably 8 months pregnant. I am going with Joseph. You don't make a journey like that when you're 8 months pregnant. It means the child can be born at any moment. I am going with Joseph. This is a very strong-willed woman. Now, on all our Christmas cards, we always see Joseph and Mary traveling together to Joseph and Mary sitting on the back of a donkey. It didn't happen. Mary was 8 months pregnant. She would have been in a cart. They would all been traveling together. Joseph, Mary's father, her brothers, all the others who are of the house of David, all traveling to Bethlehem for this particular census. And of course, when they got there, so many people coming from all over the country, the place was full. There was no room. They went to the hotels, and where can we stay? There's nowhere to stay. Then one of the innkeepers says, well, if you're pregnant, and, I don't know why you travel if you're this month's pregnant. Because now, it wasn't 8 months, she was 9 months pregnant. It was a matter of days, and I expect Mary could already feel this is coming, and it's coming soon. He said, but there's a stable. There's a stable where we keep the animals. You can go into the stable, and at least it'll be private for you. And she went in there. Now, I don't know who else travelled in the party. Was her mother travelling with her? I mean, this was a young girl of 15, 16, having her first child. If she's insisting on going to Bethlehem, I'm not a bit surprised if her mother didn't travel with her as well. But somebody acted as the midwife. And there, in that stable in Bethlehem, fulfilling the prophecies, Jesus was born. Amen.